Before we kick off, I'd just like to do something with you. If you could just very quickly imagine that you have no mobility whatsoever from the neck down. So you can't walk, you can't use your hands, and you can't use your arms. So this is our imagination, but for 200,000 people across the world, this is their reality. And Aviator is about assisting those people. So harnessing the freedom of their minds to make up for the inability of their bodies is what Aviator is all about. So assistive technologies is where we're operating at the moment. Severely disabled, C5 spinal cord injuries and up, also congenital disorders or diseases. 102,000 cases in the US alone, double that for worldwide figures. What is astounding is you have 5,500 new cases every year of people that have complete immobility from the neck down. This has a large cost to country and society, obviously, but what's most important for us is that it has a large cost to the individual, not just from lack of mobility, but also the social costs, the emotional costs around that. So any increases of independence we're able to give back to those people is a highly valued attribute, and market tells us that they're actually willing to pay for that as well in terms of that increase. Here's some examples of technologies which we're using at the moment in society to help people with spinal cord injuries to give them back some mobility. So you'll see in your right there, you've got sip and puff. Down the bottom there, you have someone using a chin stick. Right at the top there, you have an EEG cap with multiple electrodes, all of them very clunky, very ugly. And if you talk to anyone who uses a chin stick, it is the last resort for them. It's the worst case of having to use one of these because of all this technology in their face. So we're about eradicating that and doing it fairly simple. So here's a single electrode that placed on the back of the brain, classifies or codes brain signals and translates them into a command to control a device. Wireless, single, non-intrusive. We're doing that at the moment for wheelchairs. We have a prototype for wheelchairs that is working. Again, for an example might be users thinking about turning left, the wheelchair can go left. User thinks about stopping or activates a brain signal that coordinates with them and stops their device. Wheelchairs is the start. We see that there are alternative markets for us, environmental controls, allowing these people who to turn lights on and off for them. They rely heavily on users or carers because they can't do it themselves. We want to give them that capability. Turn your own lights on and off. Turn your television on and off. For young children to be able to play with toys in their mind for sensory, for stimulation and entertainment, which they can't do at the moment. Other markets, obviously assistive technologies is a smaller niche market, but it's an important market for us. It's one that we can answer to, respond to immediately, that has a rather crucial requirement at the moment, but there are other bigger opportunities for us to expand in later. Who's our team? At the top there we have a research group, commercialisation and leadership and mentoring. Professor Hung Nguyen is in the room at the moment with us. Hung is the Dean of Faculty of Engineering and IT out of UTS. This is a UTS spun out venture. He leads a number of researchers in the area. Strong research background, but strong commercialisation background as well. Very seasoned commercialiser as well as a researcher, pulling together a very strong research team. You'll see actually a picture of his good-looking son there, Jordan, who's part of that team as well as doing his PhD. So where we're at, a CA grant, successful at the beginning of the year. Everyone knows they're quite competitive. We were lucky. We've done some PCT filings and created an IP strategy for us. We're shortlisted for Tech23. We're shortlisted 1 of 7 for a national business planning competition. We're seeking investment. And we're looking at company formation. This year was about sort of finding our way. Next year is about really starting to map out our business in terms of strategic alliances, which we're now underway with discussions, with some key wheelchair manufacturers, and then going forward, scaling up for production, and then looking at exiting around 2016, 2017. So this is just a quote that we pulled off a blog off ABC Catalyst in March when the technology aired, and I think this is just a nice way to sum up in that Rod is tetraplegic, he's cognizant, he's seen the technology, he's using a chin stick at the moment, it has its drawbacks.
Thanks, Leigh.